When the WSPU moved to London, they abolished the democratic constitution and they set up a very, very autocratic organisation. So a lot of good people were expelled and left. I'm not talking about Sylvia at this stage. It's amazing that Sylvia stayed in for another 7 years. What they got was a lot of very, very posh women, titled women, who were wearing silks and satins, purple, white and green sashes. They looked smashing, and they marched along to the suffrage anthem. She was expelled because she didn't obey her mother and her sister. She was summoned to Paris to see Christabel.
A lot of people have said that women won the right to vote eventually as a result of their efforts during the war. What do you think about that argument?
I think it's absolute nonsense. It was a class-based franchise still in 1918. The tributes that came to her when she died were really pretty amazing. The only country that paid her no tribute at all was, of course, this one, Britain.
Something like 56% of 18 to 25-year-olds haven't even registered to vote. I just want to know why you think this is, and also, do you think we have a duty to vote as UK citizens?
If I was to say to you, I can't stand you, you're stupid. You're stupid. That's a stupid question. Do you think you might get out to vote against me?
That's completely
beside
beside the point. What's
it
that
isn't
got
the point,
anything
because
to do with
if
it?
I was an awful person, not voting is exactly the same as voting for the person you least want to have representing you. Because unless you vote, somebody else is making that decision.
Yeah, but why
for you.
should
So to keep the baddie.
You're saying that
By
there's
keeping the
nothing for me
baddie
to
out.
vote for. You're saying just vote against the party you
I'm
least
not-
like.
no,
I want to vote for
I'm
someone
sorry,
that I
I'm sorry.
believe in.
In 1994, I went out to South Africa as an international observer for the first democratic elections I'd ever had in South Africa. And you know, I got to Soweto at 6 in the morning, and there were people that had been queuing there to vote for hours. You know, people died to vote. I don't tell people. You will
Therefore
notice.
you
No,
think-
listen. Let me finish. I don't tell people to vote Labour, and I'm not. I mean, if Tony Blair was here or Gordon Brown was here, they'd be shocked at some things I'm saying. But what I say to people, I just want you to use your vote. If you want to vote for Andrew, do that.
Yes.
But use your vote because people died for it.
Okay, thanks. What Andrew and Diana are saying in different ways is effectively political blackmail. If you don't vote, you're denigrating the memory of Sylvia. Wait, this is exactly what you're saying.
That's
This
absolutely
is exactly what you've just said. If
Yes,
you don't
that's
vote,
exactly what Diane just
If
said.
you don't vote, you're denigrating the memory of Sylvia Pankhurst. If you don't vote, you're insulting all those black South Africans who fought for so long for the right to vote. The fact is, black South Africa in 1994 and the suffragettes in the early 1900s didn't fight for the right to choose between Lib Dem policy on DNA databases and Conservative policy on national insurance. They fought. In fact, Sylvia Pankhurst was also one of my heroes. Whenever she referred to the vote, she always used the capital V, because for her the vote wasn't just, she said this, not just a technical thing of filling in a ballot paper. It was a way of extending people's control and power over the way in which the country is run and over the way in which decisions are made. She was also a complete outspoken opponent against controlling population control, against reducing production. She would have been a critic of environmentalism, I'm certain. So I think we need to recognise that these people died for the vote with a capital V, which was a way of expressing their desires and their subjectivity and impacting their own worldview onto democracy. That's what they fought for. No one, and these young people are absolutely right to say, I will not die.
This is
for the right to vote.
stupid.
My only kind of problem with the whole idea of your free school is the fact I think you're kind of underrating the parental influence on a child's success and a child's ability to take in the knowledge that your school wants to give to each pupil.
I think you're right that parents do influence their own children. There's no doubt about it, and we recognise that, and we want to sort of talk to our parents, definitely. We want to see who the children are. We're getting to, in our first cohort, talk to their parents, find out about them, if they've got problems, work them out, and then deal with it. So our system is based on the idea that if there is a problem, we overcome it so that every child gets access to the curriculum that we want to deliver. That's our motivation, and hopefully that'll iron out some, maybe not all, but some of the problems that youngsters have, and give them that opportunity, because that's really what it's about. It's giving an opportunity to anybody in the East End, you know, who wants an education, to have it. I mean, that, from my point of view, goes right back to the beginning, the history of education when it emerged, which, you know, largely started in the East End of London in the first place, mass education. And it was that idea of, you know, you can reform the system and give people a stake in it by giving them an education that drove it in the first place. And in a sense, we're going back to that and experimenting with a way of seeing how far we can take it. One of our values in our mission statement is that we would judge ourselves by the impact our pupils have on the world. And I think, so we'll know. So if they go and do something, we'll know, and then we've been a success. If they don't, then, you know, pretty much we haven't. So time will tell.
I'm just letting my people know in Ghana that I've just sent them some money so that they can go and pick it up. So far, sending back money home helped me bought a piece of land in Accra, Ghana, which I'm building a 4-bedroom house with the basics, with the flashing toilet, shower, bathroom, modern kitchen. It's not only me who send back money home when I'm in UK. Millions of people do as well. But I've realized how little people know about this. In the UK, you hear people talking about how the West is helping the developing countries, as if it's just the West that can help us. This isn't true, of course, but you can be forgiven for saying that because nobody talks about what we're doing to help ourselves.